What is up? I am TJ. This is Uncommon, and so are you. Hey guys, if you listen real close, you can still hear that the country has a mean case of the heebies and the jeebies about this crazy election. But today we're talking about an uncommon result, hopefully putting a godly spin on what this circus could not finish. But until then, let's talk about what we're doing today. I have a couple of announcements to give you, and so let's just get to it. It is Thursday, November 5th, 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. If this is catching you at a bad time, please look at this when it's good for you and your schedule. We're trying to build up our YouTube channel, and I'll tell you that in a second. So if you're new to this, each week we focus on topics around husbands, dads, and leaders. This is actually a miscellaneous segment we've been doing for this is the 5th week, a 2020 series that we're going to turn this into an Uncommon original later on in the year, I think. But we're finishing up that series. And so if you're new to it, be sure to check out on a weekly basis and find a topic that is right for you. A way to help support this ministry is by either financial donation. We have a membership program that is $25 a year, and that is a great way to help support this ministry, which we are all donor supported, and so 100% of what you donate here goes right back into the ministry, and you get a ton of bonus features from that program. So be sure to check out that link. As I mentioned, we're trying to build our YouTube channel. We're trying to get to that 4,000 watched hour mark. As of right now, we're at 2,545 hours. They're usually about a day or two behind on that number, but we are over 60% there. So if you get a chance to watch this video and one more and help us get to that 4,000 hour mark. We had a recent first time video segment we recorded. It's called 3-in-1. It's 3 people talking about one topic from different aspects of whether it be different age groups, generations, backgrounds, races, whatever. And so that went up last Saturday on this channel. Be sure to check it out. It's called 3-in-1. The topic was marriage communication. We have also last Thursday just finished our kind of very first Dad's Conference. And that video is going to go up on our channel November 14th. So you'll be able to check in. We had about 10 guys tune into a Zoom meeting, and we just talked honestly about what it is to be an uncommon dad in today's society and all of the pitfalls and successes and things that goes into being a dad these days. We also have a new devotion that just dropped last week. It's called Traffic, the Hidden Connection of Pornography. And we had our Man of God apparel line design just launch as well. These, I'll put the links in the comments here as well, but you can find these on our website as well as in the description of this video. And then the last couple things, we're doing a Bible reading plan for everybody who follows Uncommon. So we have thousands of people who follow Uncommon, and we're starting a public, or at least an invitation only Bible reading plan on YouVersion January 1st. So be on the lookout. We're going to be doing some things as initiatives around that program, but we're going to be reading this together as a group through the app. and then talking about it on social, just to show some accountability to each other, as well as maybe some discipleship, because not everybody is at the same place in their walk with Christ. And let's see, that is all of our announcements this week. So some of this stuff, if you heard it on Facebook, I'll timestamp this, and you can skip right to the session itself at the 5:30 mark. Okay. Uncommon question of the week. Each week I ask about 12 guys a question. Not all of them answer. Some answer more than others. But this week's question, and again, the topic is an uncommon result. So if you're outside the United States, and we have quite a following internationally, we had our presidential election this past Tuesday. Chaos has ensued, and I'm sure you're well aware that we're neck deep in the middle of the results of that election. But today we're talking about a different slant on that. We've been leading up to this segment. Last week was an uncommon decision, and it was not about the election, just like this one is not about the election. We really do not care about the outcome of the election, because if we are setting our hope in Christ, that does not change no matter who's in the White House. So with that said, this week's question to our guys was, how do you handle an outcome that does not go your way? Do you pray about it? Do you pout? Do you focus your eyes on Jesus? Do you lash out at others? Are you open to changes? Do you get angry? These are just some of the questions, some of the answers I had posed to the guys, and this was their responses. I asked them to give me in their own words. And so one person just said plainly, lament. They just ponder and think about that decision. One says, I get up and I go to work and I try to do my job daily. One says, I would love to say that my focus stays on Jesus. This is not always the case. I would say allowing myself to become angry and then lashing out at others. I have always been set in a how I like to do things, and being open to change is difficult for me. And this has led me to ask myself, why was I offended in the first place? Did they really do something wrong? Or is it just an insecurity of my own? The next one says, the situation really dictates my response, even though it shouldn't. The next one is, it all depends on the severity of the outcome. If it's not a big deal, then I can be open to change. If an outcome goes against my beliefs or what I stand for, then I must pray and stay focused on Christ. The next one is, I make adjustments to change with the outcome. And the last one is prayer, anger, and anxiety. So you can see that right there is a very small sample, and it's probably pretty consistent throughout the entire United States. You have people rioting in the streets, which is not part of this election process. You have people who are completely disinterested in this process because of the circus it is. And you have most of the rest of us who are concerned about certain issues, are confused and wary of putting our trust in someone in any political arena. So, and then all the emotions that go along with all of that. So you can see that whether we are talking about an election or any particular decision, outcome that does not go our way, we tend to not focus on what we should. And it impacts our joy and our walk with Christ and how we reflect Christ and all that. So I thought it'd be a good idea to help set some perspective when you get an uncommon result. So how to find peace when you don't like the outcome. My wife and I just spent the last 2 weeks chasing down healthcare. And if there's any flippant thing that we don't like the outcome of, it's healthcare, which is also a clown show of a service these days that only tends to double and triple in price. The services don't, but the price does. As you can tell, not a fan of that outcome, even though God led us to a great solution. But during that 2-week period, there was wailing and gnashing of teeth. I tried to keep us both on task of being realistic, trying to remove emotion from that, but it is always difficult. So, how do you find peace when you don't like the outcome? So, by the end of the day, Tuesday, millions of people around the US were unhappy. And quite frankly, I imagine everyone was unhappy because there was no outcome to the election. If you watched any of the news organizations, it was map palooza. This hypothetical, that scenario, this county, that thing, these people, on and on. And there's probably another billion or more people around the world who are not happy with the results either. Truth be told, I don't think anyone is really happy with the results, no matter who wins this election. But for the few of us who either are not politically active or simply don't care to be, it was an easy Tuesday. God was on his throne. I was still secure in my salvation, and my calling has not changed. I do not need to count votes for that. But for all those people who have taken to the streets, lashed out on social media, or have spent the last 48 hours spouting off on talk shows, it's going to take some time. So how do we find peace when we don't like the outcome? So as always, we're going to start with scripture. John 14:27, peace I leave with you, my peace I give you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled and do not be afraid. Notice, I do not give to you as the world gives. There is never going to be harmony associated with political stuff. And even if you remove the political stuff from this conversation, just culture alone, society, there are things that push us in different ways and makes us unhappy. It destroys our peace. Hebrews 12:14, make every effort to live in peace with everyone and to be holy. Without holiness, no one will see the Lord. If you've ever tuned into an election or a debate or the aftermath of an election, there's no peace to be had there. There is just human behavior. Philippians 4:6-7. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God will transcend all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. And the last one, 1 Thessalonians 5:15. Make sure that no one pays back wrong for wrong, but always strive to do what is good for each other and for everyone else. Boy, you can't look at 2020 or even move back to 2019 before COVID-19 was even uttered. We were acting this way toward each other long before we set our sights on 2020. So, how about we adjust some of the issues about approaching an outcome? How about we talk about managing expectations? Someone once said, expectation is the root of all heartache. We really set ourselves up for a fall when we set our expectations on unrealistic sights or goals. Ironically, we may even become disappointed when we get what we want. Isn't that strange? We pine for something, we get something, that person gets elected, whatever, and all of a sudden something happens and we're still not happy. So then we have to ask ourselves, who are we trying to please, ourselves or God? How about our coping mechanisms? I've seen people try to drink themselves to death over time and swear up and down that everything is fine. I've seen people try to fill the emptiness by buying everything they could and still being happy. I've seen people try to always be the smartest person in the room, only to be unable to get enough respect from people to be completely satisfied. So as you can see, when we tie our satisfaction to earthly people and things and situations, we're constantly going to be disappointed. So how do we overcome that disappointment? So Jesus told us there would be trials and tribulations in John 16:33. But as you can see from our verses above on peace, we're called to keep our eyes on Jesus. In Matthew 14:22-33 is the story of Peter trying to walk on water. And I suggest you go read it if you have not read it recently. And Peter's trying to walk on water to Jesus, only to fail once he started to focus on the storm around him. There are storms to be looked at in our world, whether it be your job, your health, an election, racism, crime, anything out there. There are storms to be looked at. So, what are some of the things in this story we can take heart from? Jesus was there in the storm with Peter. It wasn't like Jesus wasn't there. It wasn't like he was on shore yelling to Peter like, hey, you should walk faster. That water is soft. He was there just outside the boat. And Jesus tells Peter to come to him. It wasn't like Peter just jumped out the boat. That's usually a Peter thing, right? Doing before he thinks, kind of like me. But Jesus tells Peter to come to him, even though there was a storm. So notice that Jesus didn't stop the storm and say, all right, Peter, it's all calm now. Come on out. While the storm is going on, he called Peter out of that boat. I'm not quite sure how he got out of that boat. And Jesus was within a hand's reach from Peter and was able to catch him when Peter yelled out. So there will be storms. And 4 years from now, I have bad news for you. There's going to be another election. Unless Jesus returns before then, and that'd be fantastic. But in 4 years from now, there's going to be another election. And there may be even years that are just like 2020 or worse. I really pray that 2021 turns for the better for everyone. I mean, everybody is just hoping against hope that 2021 just is magically filled with chocolate rivers and candy sheep and all the happiness out there. But I have a feeling that it's just because it's a change of the year, and that doesn't always work. So where is our hope? Let's see. The last part about that story was we see in that same story right before Peter climbed out of that boat, Jesus said, "Take courage. It is I. Don't be afraid." So he told Peter, take courage. You're getting ready to step out that boat. Jesus gives us some fair warning. There's going to be trials and tribulations, but he is there. But if we're not focused on him and always focused on the storm, we'll always have unrest in this world. Let's see who's in here. I see Joshua Turner. Thank you, brother, for tuning in. Right on. I appreciate your time here. Let's see. We're heading over to our Truth and Grace segment. So Truth and Grace, hitting at that 2021 mark. So truth, are we really trying to tie our contentment to a political candidate? Oh my goodness, how unstable is that? I guarantee you, if you're a Republican and Trump wins, you're going to be unhappy. If you're a Democrat and Biden wins, you're probably going to be unhappy. There's going to be some things that take place that make you unhappy. It's not all peaches and cream. So right now, you would not be able to tell that. It's so black and white in most people's world. They're just focused on, well, if this person wins, we're fantastic. And if this person wins, we're in trouble. Boy, I think we have our focus set on the wrong thing. We're trying to tell ourselves we like looking at the storm and not at Jesus. And as for a person who stirs up division, after warning him once and then twice, have nothing more to do with him, knowing that such a person is warped and sinful, and he is self-condemned. Titus 3:10 and 11. I just put that in there. That was in my reading this past week. And I was like, I can't think of a better time of year in the election season when there is more stirring up division among us. I look forward to maybe after the election cycle is over and we can maybe start to mend fences and heal as a society again. So John 16:33 says, I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world. All right, so now we move into our devotions, our articles, and our videos. I'm keeping track of timestamps here, if you're wondering. We've been trying to put timestamps in our videos, and so this is a result of that. So our devotions, we have set here for focus, doubt, and in the likeness of men are our devotions. And all these devotions can be found on our on the YouVersion channel. By the end of the year, we will have hit 50 devotions. That is quite the number. If you've ever written one, if you've ever read one, you might look at them in a different light after you have done 50 of them. So that is impressive for us, to say the least. Our articles, and all this information is going to be in our description, but our articles are same storm, different boats. pursuing God in and out of trials. And the secret to winning the battle is in the preparation. Once again, I love, love, love that we have content that I can pull from when talking about a topic. It just really dovetails very well that if we're talking about something, I can go look at content on our website that's there to be had and that talks about that same thing. And it just really, for me, it really confirms that the content we're writing is spot on to what we're developing. So, and then our videos on our channel here. There's one from heart to mouth, earthly versus eternal, and reacting to the replay. I almost wanted to see people, and reacting to the replay is based off of my lovely wife. We are New Orleans natives, Saints fans, and LSU fans, right? Not having a good year this year, but last year, it was a beautiful year. And so, beginning of this year, we started watching videos, replays of last year's games, knowing that, okay, well, it may not be great this year, so let's relive last year. And as we're watching, I see my wife just cheering as if she did not know the outcome of the videos. It was really funny to see her go through all the emotions over again, that I felt bad when I told her. I said, oh, you realize that we win all the games, right? We went undefeated all the way through the national championship. But she reacted as if she didn't remember that. And so those are the type of videos that content we have developed. And it just was really, I thought it was a great thing that we can relate that to Christ, even though we're watching the replay of this election, of debates, of this clip, that footage, whatever. We can avoid reacting to that, knowing that Christ has overcome this world. So let's refocus our attention to something worthy, and that worthiness is God. So I hope this has helped set, I don't know, just ring a bell or, take a breath out there. It's not as bad as it looks, no matter who gets into office. I've been through enough elections to honestly say it really does not matter who gets into office when looked at through the eyes of eternity. Yes, there are things that each person brings to that, and you may not like those things they stand for, but that is going to be the world. It is broken and fallen. So why not focus our eyes on Christ? And so I hope that this content has been a blessing to you. And as we finish up our 2020 sessions here, next week we'll jump back into a uncommon husband series or husband topic, and get into our normal routine as we approach the end of the year. It's crazy. This year has felt like it's been 6 years, and then this year has felt like it's been a month, all at the same time. It's very, very strange. So if any of our content resonates with you, please get involved. Help us grow this ministry, whether it be financial, you write for us, you spread the word about Uncommon, you help watch videos. If you want to help get involved, we have a way for you to do so. If you can't afford anything, we have a way for you to help there too. So be sure to be praying for the ministry, that we reach people with Christ, and sign up for our newsletter on uncommon.org. Be sure to follow us on our social. We're very active on Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. And so I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of the day and in the weekend ahead, and that peace washes over our world and this Intense fellowship is a distant memory by the end of the year. So, as we always say, since you're going to be something, be uncommon.